everyone. Happy Thursday to you. This is Alan Schimmel, and welcome to Conference Week. Most of us are somewhere or another at one conference or heading to another conference, but we managed to pull it all together, and we're going to give you a great look at some inside hotel rooms. As we film I'm so old, as we record today's Techstrong gang. Let me introduce you to our traveling band of gang members. We've got, I think out in Vegas, Mitch Ashley and John Swartz. We've got Mike, who I think is over the pond again in Amsterdam. Yeah.
True enough.
And then the only one actually home is our fearless cyber warrior, Terry Robinson. I'm actually coming at you from Houston today, where immediately following recording the gang, I'll be interviewing a lot of folks at the Qualys Rock On conference, Risk Operations Conference, Rock On. Anyway.
We thought you were filming the latest Scorsese movie there. That's why you're filming with your hat.
What do you think? I hear you paint houses.
Wow, good one.
Nice. Movies are my thing, but anyway, let's jump in. Let's jump into Thursday's gang. So, Mike, John is going right from the Oracle event to the Salesforce event. I guess that makes him like one of the Japanese guys in the old King Kong Godzilla movies and stuff, right? Running around. But these titans are certainly going at it. What's up?
John is kind of, through the merits of virtual services, I guess, is now engaging in quantum computing and being in two places at one time, right? But anyway, it seems like Oracle and Salesforce decided both to have their big conference this week and kind of we're throwing some various elbows. But John, you covered these stories on techstrong.aa, but I got to tell you, I read them. And from here in Amsterdam, I was kind of like, so what? I got a whole lot of Me Too going on here, but that's just what it looks like from over here.
Yeah, no, you're right. So I'm going to leave it to Mitch to talk about the particulars about what Oracle is doing. I actually think, and I think we talked about this last night, Mitch, we're pretty impressed with what Oracle is doing, more so maybe because we're being inundated, or in my case, I'm talking to a lot of the executives who are kind of hammering home certain ideas or themes, and Ellison did the same thing last night in a keynote speech. But just to round it up really quickly, there's a number of dueling conferences and press releases and news announcements going on between these two companies that has this deep divisive history between one another. So we'll start with Salesforce, since they jumped the gun and they announced some AI partnerships or deepening partnerships with OpenAI and Anthropic on the enterprise platform. They also pledged, in a very, very interesting, almost politically tinged announcement, $15 billion investment in San Francisco over 5 years, after the CEO, Mark Benioff, basically sided with Trump and thought it might be a good idea to bring the National Guard into San Francisco to clean up the streets, which went over extremely well. I'm being very facetious. And here in Oracle in Las Vegas, there are a number of things they did. This new AI data platform to bridge enterprise data with generative AI. They're going to deploy 50,000 AMD AI chips and major cloud infrastructure expansion. But what I want to mention is that the idea that these two companies, which normally never have concurrent events, are doing it head to head, in a sense, trying to steal thunder from one another. So I've been asking both companies if this was intentional. They claim it was a coincidence, but I don't think there are no coincidences when it comes to Oracle and Salesforce. There's this deep-seated animosity between the companies to gain attention. And a lot of it, as Jack Gold and I were talking about, is this ill will between the companies after Benioff, who basically worked for Ellison when it was tutored and mentored by Ellison, left the company to form Salesforce and compete head on. So, this is not unusual. There are other things. Snowflake and Databricks have had shows at the same time to compete with one another. I remember Apple famously, when they announced the iPhone in January 2007, that was CES week. It does happen, but in this one, it does get personal. And I kind of wanted to hand it off to Mitch, because Mitch gave me some really interesting insight into what Oracle was doing. And it was eerie because a lot of the executives were literally mirroring what Mitch had said later when I talked to them. I think Mitch has a really good insight into what Oracle's trying to do. And I think it is interesting and I think it is impressive what they're trying to do.
Thanks, John. And I didn't do any messaging work for him, so it's just coincidence.
No. They are following your lead, I think.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sure. And I can't do justice to Salesforce because I'm not up to speed, so I can't speak or compare necessarily what happened there. Here, I think this is a pretty big mic drop moment for Oracle, and here's why. I'm not usually like, we're super overwhelmed by how positive what I think about what Oracle's doing in this case. The best way I can describe it is this isn't just Oracle supporting AI in their applications. What they've done is kind of flipped the table and said, we have already solved the problem of bringing your data to AI. Matter of fact, bring your AI to the data because we've got all the data from all the SaaS applications and enterprise applications, CRM, ERP, you name it, NetSuite, all of that kind of thing, all the Oracle databases that you use, because he announced both an update to kind of Oracle AI database as well as the Oracle data platform. And what their strategy is we'll pre-vectorize all this data for you, and we'll solve the problem of not exposing your data to the models to train the models by putting that into essentially a giant RAG in front of any AI system that you want to query and use the data against, so the data doesn't leave your Oracle environment, whether it's cloud or on-prem and all that kind of thing. You still apply the same security policy, privacy guardrails, all of those things, even sovereignty issues, and we essentially pre-ready all of your data for AI. And they also have built a querying capability through this vectorization to be able to tie together. You can do queries, through AI across different database sources, your own into SaaS applications that they have. They'll even do this as a front end to third-party data sources, so like maybe an S3 bucket or something where you have data that you want to extend this to. So it's really, we'll take care of the enterprise concerns around protecting data and making sure that it stays within the corporate controls and all the compliance requirements that you have to meet as a large organization, and then make it ready to use by AI. So it's really it's the problem. They've solved the problem that everybody else has, is now how do we protect the data that we've got an AI capability and an agent generation capability. I think that's pretty massive. It's huge. And the fact that they've done this ahead of time before they announced it, it's really AI ready. They said, it's available now. You can use this now. You don't have to take any steps to vectorize all this stuff. And I'm not doing justice to all the things that they announced, but that's essentially the strategy that they've implemented. I think it's pretty brilliant. I'm not a Oracle fanboy or anything. I've run Oracle in some shops. I've cursed Oracle like I cursed Microsoft from running them because sometimes they're a pain in the butt. But I think it's a pretty amazing strategy.
I will play devil's advocate on the other side of this thing. So they have a RAG capability. Them and everybody and his brother has a RAG capability, and they're trying to maybe be a data management company, and that's nice. But at the core, Oracle is still Oracle, the relational database company, which is structured data. The footprint of Oracle around unstructured data that I need to drive the AI models is relatively small compared to many other companies. And so as I read through all this stuff, I was kind of like, well, this is nice, but I didn't see anything in there that I haven't read from IBM, MongoDB, and 100 other database companies. So I was kind of like, where's the beef is, if I would go back in time for a slogan.
Let me tell you where the beef is. Let me tell you where the beef is. The beef is in the amount of money counters that Larry Ellison has hired over the last 3 months or so, as Oracle's stock has gone through the roof and he's seen his net worth go up by 30-something% or some crazy number like that, so that his son can go out and buy every media company under the sun. Okay? Really, when I look at what Oracle is doing, Yeah, they're doing, Mitch. You gave a great recap of it. But what's driven this boom in Oracle is they've done a great job of integrating themselves into this new AI power structure. Everything from connections into the White House, and I only said it half facetiously about his son. The White House looks favorably about him taking over media as well. So he's ingrained himself into everything from the White House to OpenAI to AMD to NVIDIA. You know, they are just making deals and becoming a central player into all of these things. And as this AI saga, you want to call it a bubble or not, as this AI economy continues to rise, Oracle is firmly strapped in and taking the ride. And that's why we pay so much attention to it today.
I think it's a good way to look at it, is you kind of widen the lens, right, and look at strategically what they've done, not just with their products. That's spot on.
They've put themselves in the next. I mean, I assume you guys have all seen this Bloomberg graphic, a graphic out of Bloomberg describing the AI economy and the relative circles, right? And how the connectivity is. This one's invested, this one's sold services or product, right? And Oracle's right in there, man.
You know what Oracle did that to my amazement, what Oracle did was they out Benioff. So Mark Benioff prides himself as being the marketer. He has actually said to people I know who report on him, I am marketing is how he put. But in this case, Oracle, which everyone always thought of as the dowdy old company that was dusty and moldy, is actually taking the initiative and is at the center of a lot of these things, whether we like it or not. And that has a really nod. I know it's gnawing at Salesforce. That's why they lean heavily on celebrities and kind of flash and the Klieg lights. But Oracle, I think this, to my amazement, they've actually are at the center of something that's very vital. And for years, I almost never thought of them in that light.
Can anybody tell me how much revenue Salesforce generates that is not related to CRM? Because, and I look at all this stuff and I'm like, it's nice to see all these lovely announcements, but when I look at the revenue flow, it's all CRM and maybe some add-on marketing tools around that. This is not big enough of a thing to build an AI empire on. If I go compare Salesforce to what Microsoft is doing, Salesforce kind of looks silly. So again, I look at these guys
Mike,
and go, you know what? They don't seem to have the muscle to go do what they want to say they do.
Yeah. I spoke about this last week on Shimmy Says. You have an AI economy here where this year alone, there's something like $500 billion actually being spent this year. Singapore's GDP, with resulting revenue of about $19 billion. Somalia. So is Salesforce part of the Somalia economy? Yeah, they are. They're in that 19 billion Somalia. But doesn't stop everyone from investing $500 billion, right? So everyone's in for the ride here. And they're all feeding at the trough. And look, I feel compelled to say this. I'm not saying that AI is not real. I'm not saying it's going to disrupt everything. You guys should go check out was it Figure.ai? They put out their new Figure 3.0 robot. I was talking about it with Mitchell last night. We watched it. There's no doubt this stuff's changing the world. But at what time frame, at what cost, and how much are we investing now, and how long are we going to wait to see Salesforce investment in Agentforce pay off?
Well, that's right. When's the return, right, on that? And how big and for how long?
That's the bottom line. All right, we got to take a break. I got to go ahead. I'll give you the last word, Mike.
or just before somebody else shows up with a whole fleet of AI agents and puts those in front of every other app out there and turns Salesforce into what, a back-end service? Just saying.
I think they'd be happy to be the manager back end of everybody else's agent. Because that's the other fight, right? Is I want to manage your agents. I don't care whose agents they are. Anyway, let's take a break here on the gang. We'll come back and we've got more. Stay tuned.
You've earned it. The spotlight, the responsibility, the weight of teams, companies, and entire industries fall on your shoulders. Lives depend on your decisions, your home life included. At work, you're protected, physically and digitally. Nothing gets through your team without a fight. But in a globally connected world, everyone sees you, including those who mean to cause you and your organization harm. And now home, your sanctuary. Attackers see an opportunity. Your digital front door is wide open. And what compromises your home can breach your boardroom. Because the devil's greatest trick isn't targeting your workplace firewall. It's convincing you that your personal life isn't at risk. Black Cloak. Digital executive protection, defending the new attack surface. Your personal life.
Hey folks, we're back and we're going to shift gears slightly, but Red Hat this week was talking about their distributed computing platform that's built on a version of an open source project that came out of, I believe it was Berkeley originally, but it kind of is a distributed framework that's counter to CUDA from NVIDIA. I cannot tell you for the life of me how much traction this thing is getting, but Red Hat's sure putting a lot of weight behind this thing. And their case is that AI can't scale up, so it has to scale out, which requires a distributed computing platform and requires Kubernetes. I mean, Mitch, is this where we're going? Do they have a chance here, or is this kind of like Red Hat off on the side mission here, and everybody else is more focused on, how many compute engines can I throw in the cloud?
I think it's very much in keeping with Red Hat and their strategy. In a way, it's bringing together a lot of the components that they've been working on. I think the thing you're talking about is LLMD, which is out of UC Berkeley, their Sky Computing Lab. Sounds a little too close to Skynet, but that's a different issue. About being able to deploy containers on OpenShift AI, their platform. And it also uses this VLLM, which is another open source standard. I think it came through one of their acquisitions in late last year that they had. Oh, it's the NeuroMagic company that they acquired, which is to be able to distribute LLM workloads across Kubernetes clusters. So think of it as an alternative to CUDA, your reference to NVIDIA. So it really, what it's about is assembling the infrastructure to make it easier to get AI into production on top of Kubernetes, on top of OpenShift AI by Red Hat. And in a way, it's kind of the conclusion or the first big step, if you will, of the NeuroMagic acquisition, where they productized this all together into an AI hub to be able to operationalize your AI. And that's, a lot of the issue is getting AI into production. Well, if this is one of the obstacles, that's what they're addressing.
Do you think also that we'll probably hear from Broadcom with VMware in the same context, and they'll be making a similar case? Maybe there'll be a different version of a proprietary option of these things, but it feels like to me, as I watch this split between training and inference, that inference is going to be managed more by traditional IT teams, and this is going to wind up being a battle between the traditional providers of platforms to those guys, which is VMware and Red Hat, and it's same guys over again. It's just a different fight.
Well, the two are very, very different workloads, right? Inferencing and training, and most of us are not going to do training. That's left up to people that are going to consume 1,000 to 1 the number of GPUs to be able to do those kind of workloads. I think this is bread and butter IT deployment of AI. To your point, Mike.
So here's I think what you got to realize. This is a major disruption coming down the pike. The development, deployment, pipeline, everything, platforming for AI applications. And no matter what you want to, how you want to define an AI application, I'll leave it for you guys to fight over. But certainly the whole AI application development and deployment and operations piece of this is a huge bone that these traditional IT guys are fighting over. But I would posit to say that it's not just the traditional IT guys that you've mentioned. I think NVIDIA has a huge stake in this game because it's CUDA. They're going to try to make CUDA the language for tomorrow's AI platforms. I think you're going to see AMD say, wait a second, we're going to come out with an ecosystem that allows you to run these platforms on, and that are, especially the inference stuff, that are optimized for our chips. Broadcom, very quietly has done a whole bunch of deals and seems to have the inference chip market well in hand. Right? Well in hand. They've done a huge amount of deals on that. And they're going to want to have their software. And the funny thing is, all these companies partner with each other, right? They all partner with each other, but at the end of the day, they all want to be the platform, the ecosystem provider that you are developing on, because they know how big it's going to be to develop these AI-empowered applications.
Yeah.
So
I think that CIOs and traditional IT teams are having a conversation with some of the data science teams that go something like this. Originally, it was a Tiger team that built the AI project, and then it was attached to that Tiger team maybe was somebody who managed infrastructure, and that was their contribution to that Tiger team. I think as you go to operationalize AI, the senior IT leadership is now kind of patting those people on the head and say, thanks for playing, but if we're going to manage this stuff at scale, it's got to be done within the construct of the way we manage IT today. And for that, they're going to go back to their traditional vendors that they standardize and say, give me a platform that extends what I already have, because I don't need another platform. I just need something that kind of lets me run these workloads. Mitch, am I crazy or not?
No, I think you're right. And it's the argument to Alan, your point. Is it the vertically integrated solution? Is it the Apple? Or is it the open source? Is it the assembled, open components and commercial products together? That's the two strategies. I would contend most organizations are going to be more comfortable with a platform that they're familiar with. Not saying NVIDIA can't win, but are you going to go to
they're
NVIDIA?
going to say CUDA is open.
Well, yeah, CUDA's open, but it's not open like open, right? Not yet. It's just not adopted. Let me put it in that way. I'm not saying it isn't open, but it's not the same thing. At least not yet. Not saying. And if NVIDIA is everywhere, great, then CUDA makes a ton of sense. But in this mixed market of everybody coming out with new chips, new technology, that's got to push NVIDIA to really be open to be adopted in that way.
Right. Open source is not the same thing as open interfaces, right?
No, but I'll go back to that Bloomberg diagram I referenced, and we should get it up at one of these things.
Yeah.
So the size of your circle is pegged into how many hundreds of billions of dollars your worth is. And they got NVIDIA there at $4.5 trillion. That bubble takes up the whole diagram. Don't bet against them.
Sucks a lot of oxygen out of the room, doesn't it?
Yeah, don't bet against them.
Just asking, how much of that trillion came from 7 customers?
$4.5 trillion.
Almost all of it. Yeah.
How much of every person's retirement funds in this country are pegged into those same 7? So,
so I'm listening to all this, and I do worry about the security aspect, of course, especially in that distributed sort of environment. What about access control? I mean, Red Hat has had some issues in the past, So as all this stuff expands out, what does that really mean for security? I think
Don't worry about it.
I think
if
it's
And
an
we'll get to it later.
We'll
Don't worry
get
about
to
I think
it.
it's an after. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be where it always was,
Yeah,
right? We're going to
unfortunately.
do this, then we're gonna secure it later and not do a very good job of it. But
It's on the chart. It's just labeled someday.
someday,
Is that what it's
An
not the
asterisk.
roadmap slide anymore?
It's
I
someday.
think it's on the slide labeled. Boy, I hope we have enough success to have this problem.
To worry
Yeah.
about it.
I hope I've
Yeah.
cashed out by then.
Let's
boy,
take
I hope we have the success before somebody hits us. So
Well, it's history's a guide. Let us take a break here. We're going to come back. We've got our third block to talk about on Techstrong Gang today.
Discover Techstrong Group, the epicenter of tech innovation. We're your go-to for reaching IT leaders and practitioners worldwide. Our secret? Impactful content that sparks awareness, engagement, and top-quality leads. With us, you'll access editorial websites, streaming videos, virtual events, custom content, analyst research, and more. Join our satisfied clients. Let's revolutionize your tech journey. Contact us today and tell your story to the world in the most powerful way with Techstrong Group.
Hey, folks, we're back with the C Block, and Terry has a story up on Security Boulevard that I loved because it kind of got to the macro issues here, and it just says, are defenders rethinking their entire strategy from the hardware up to APIs to networks and everything? And are they having a conscious conversation about that, or are we just buying a bunch of piece parts to solve a particular issue, and then we hope we're going to have a framework later? Terry, are we being proactive finally? This would be a first in my career, but
yeah, I'd like to think that they're being proactive. I'm gonna say probably not. We'll revert to type at some point. But yeah, this was interesting because, these hardware API and network vulnerabilities have really soared in the last year, right? And I think it's a wake-up call for companies, but I'm not sure how much they're gonna really heed it. But just so we can be clear here, I mean, it's like 88% increase in hardware vulnerabilities. That's from BugCrowd, by the way. And the number of API bugs rose 10%. So it's significant numbers that we're looking at. But do I think, that the security pros say, yes, indeed, people are starting to maybe change their whole strategy? I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of evidence of that.
Well, since I'm in Vegas, I have to use the moniker of wait. You tell me there's gambling going on here? There's vulnerabilities in IoT hardware? I thought they had this covered all along. I'm shocked.
These are the ones that always trip people up, right? I mean, it's not funny, but hardware is like.
Alan, is there something fundamentally flawed in the thinking of cybersecurity professionals that they seem to be unable to approach all this stuff holistically? And, to Terry's point, I cannot tell you how many times I've heard the phrase, this is a wake-up call for cybersecurity folks, and they all roll over and hit the snooze button, and that's that.
That's right.
Cybersecurity.
It goes off every 15 minutes. And
the Rip Van Winkle of the IT world.
You just insulted every reader that we have. Thanks a lot.
So fundamentally, I've got two really things I want to say here. First of all, I will tell you that hardware, APIs, all of these things that are seeing huge increases in the number of vulnerabilities are not any less or better secure than they were 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. We're suffering from Microsoft Windows syndrome. Right? When Windows had 95 or 98% of the PC market, all of the vulnerabilities found were in Windows because that's where people were looking for them, because that's where we can make some hay. Hardware's gotten sexy. APIs represent a majority of the network of the traffic on the internet. So that's where the bad guys are looking for vulnerabilities, and that's where we're finding them. But they were there all along.
It's like Robin Banks.
Yep. But here's the fundamental thing, and Mitch and I learned this the hard way. the whole vulnerability game in security is a bad news generator. And people, you know what? They just get desensitized to the bad news. Wait, did you say I have 8 million or 8 billion vulnerabilities? Oh, I thought you said million. Thank God. So, you know, it's a bad news generator that we are like a water rolling off a duck's back, right? It's just, yeah, I know. We've got that telephone book full of vulnerabilities. And it's the same thing, quite frankly, in AppSec now, too. We're starting to see this, right? It's like, all right, let's worry about the runtime, right? I'm not even going to bother over here. I'll worry about it in runtime. It's the nature of the vulnerability game. It's a bad news generator, and no one likes bad news.
You know, it's funny. Like at this show, there are two topics. If you bring up, they're immediately deflected. It's the AI, the inevitability of the AI bubble, and cybersecurity issues. It's just kind of swept away because given all that's going on, all the money that's being thrown, all the hype that's being hit over our heads, these are like the two unpleasant things that we don't want to talk about until we have to talk about.
Exactly. And guys, it's been like that. It's been like that for as long as I've been doing security, right, Mitch? We saw this when we were testing VAM in, what was that, 2003?
2003. Yep. It was.
Well, you know, Terry and I are going to take great comfort in the fact that there'll be no end of AI-related security incidents to write about for the next 2 years. It's going to be awesome.
What makes you think you're writing about
It's actually
them?
good news for us.
We'll have the AI
Yeah, it's great
write
for
about
Security
it.
Boulevard. Yeah,
You know,
Good news for
Great
us.
traffic calming.
Well, I'll say is a nice little IoT device you got there. Be a shame if something happened to it.
yeah.
Guess what? It is. So, yeah. So, I mean, you know, a lot of the people I talked to said, well, yeah, we're starting to move closer to this sort of cybersecurity by design. I just don't even know that that's the least bit true, you know, really.
No. We actually discussed this, you know, we restarted the Security Boulevard podcast. Mitch, I think you were on the one a couple of weeks ago. I was on this week's one. And we spoke about this very issue. You know, and it's funny when you talk to IT people who don't know from security, you know, Mitch, they are shocked that there's gambling going on at Rick's Cafe. You know? But when you talk to security people, yeah, this is the way it is, right? I mean, you know, why do you think we drink so much?
Well, the ultimate in hype was in Allison's talk. You know, he loves to be up there, right? He's kind of living over his kingdom, and he's fun to listen to. But he did say one thing I just kind of got a little bit of, you know, spit up in the back of my throat there when he said, now with all this AI generated code now that we're getting doesn't have security vulnerabilities in it because AIs generate the code.
Of course.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute.
So Mitch, is there a book in Vegas on when to bet on when there's going to be the first, shall we say, catastrophic AI security event? Because it's got to be coming up soon.
I haven't pursued the line, but you can bet on everything in Vegas, so why not? I'm sure there is. Or they'll start.
I bet the house is going to happen in 6 months. Yeah,
within 6 months. I don't know if you'd see it in Vegas, but I guarantee you the London bookies have a book on it.
Has anybody checked Polymark?
They're much more sophisticated.
Ladbroke soon.
Yeah,
I think a lot of them right now, when they watch this show, will be, hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Again, someone took my $500 billion idea. I could have been on the Bloomberg diagram.
Just you.
Yeah.
You have your own circle.
But I mean, look, you know, for those of us who've been in the security game for a long time, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm beaten and broken, but I'm beaten and broken. That's the way it is. It is. You know.
That's when you follow with and your point is?
Yeah. There will be an incident, and everyone will clutch their pearls and say, "Oh dear God, I knew this was going to happen. And about 3 days later, we'll go back to normal.
No, I mean,
I
I
will
think we
go.
discussed it a couple of weeks ago, right? That there has to be a 9/11 type event with cyber, and it's, you know,
I
even then
think the
our
one
attention
thing that
spans are short. So
I think the one thing that's different about AI, though, it's like as one guy once told me, he said, this AI stuff is one thing to be wrong. It's another thing to be wrong at scale. And this AI stuff, we're going to be wrong at scale.
right.
Mhm. You have a
There's a
point there.
lot of things that could go wrong with this AI stuff at scale. But anyway, hey, I've got to pull the plug on today's gang. All of us have to. Well, Terry, you're home, but the four of us have to go get on with our conferences. I have videos to be doing. If you're well, you'll be watching this on Thursday, and I will be streaming live right after the gang from Qualys. I'll probably have Sumedh Tharkar, the Qualys CEO, on tomorrow. You can talk to him, as well as a whole bunch of people here at the Qualys event. John, we'll be looking forward to your Dreamforce
Yeah, I'm going to talk
follow-up.
to Will I Am. Speaking of Salesforce,
Oh, Will
I'm
I
gonna talk to
Am.
Will I Am. Yeah, in a couple hours.
Oh,
Very
wow.
Nice.
cool.
Good.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
Absolutely. And he does a lot of good in this world.
Mhm.
Mitch, enjoy
Yeah.
Oracle. Mike, enjoy Amsterdam. To you out there, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay tuned for more Techstrong TV. We'll be back tomorrow with more Techstrong Gang. Take care, everyone. Hey, everyone. Welcome back here to Techstrong TV. It's getting that time of year again. I'm not talking about Christmas or Thanksgiving. Believe it or not, we're talking RSA conference. Hard to believe. We are here in mid-October. RSA conference is a little earlier this year. I believe it's late March.
March
But
23rd to March 26th, right here for you, Alan. You
absolutely.
ask and I deliver.
You know what? You read my mind. Let me introduce you to my friend Cecilia Marinier. Cecilia,
Yeah.
it's so good to see you. But I feel like we're early, right? I usually
Oh my
don't see you till around January, February
I
on
know.
here.
This is crazy.
But
We are very early this year.
that's good because we're getting out ahead of things.
That's right. We're getting people ready to go to think about it because we're even opening up our registration like next week. So not next week, but 2 weeks I think from now. So people have to
Well,
start
no,
getting
it's
ready.
next week from the time people will see this.
Oh, sorry. It is
It's the
next
magic
week,
of the
people.
internet.
The magic of the internet. When you see this, it was already in the future. It's so great.
Mm-hmm.
I love
It's
it.
not AI.
Or it's in the past.
Cecilia, before we talk about opening up for sandbox and innovation, I want to talk a little bit about your evolving role with RSAC, right? Your official title these days is Vice President, Innovation and Scholars.
Yes.
And a lot of folks out here may not be familiar with the scholars piece of it. So before we jump into the opening up of submissions and stuff, let's talk about your role and the different programs that you're shepherding now as part of RSA conference.
So thanks, Alan, for giving me a platform that really allows me a lot of liberty to actually share with you all of the great things of how RSAC is looking at the future. It kind of matches what we were talking about before. And we're doing that in a couple ways. The programs I work on are actually trying to identify where's the industry going. And it goes in two fronts. The innovation piece itself is really focused in on helping startups and giving them a platform to amplify their message and what their products are, because we're in a really, really difficult time in our world where there's so much changing so quickly. We absolutely need a lot of innovation and a lot of creativity about how to solve these problems. And that's what the innovation platform is. And I'm going to talk more about that in a second. I just want to touch on the scholar piece because this is the future of the industry. So RSAC is committed to helping these scholars, and we do it in two programs. One is a security scholar program, which identifies 60 top scholars from across the country. We ask the department leads to actually send us their students from 40 plus schools. And then we give them a curated experience, and think of it like a TED Fellow program. Really very important because they are the future for our industry. We're looking at they're now coming in, and there's some of them that are actually applying to the Innovation Sandbox contest. They're entrepreneurs. Some are speaking at conference and sharing their research. So we're hoping to elevate them up and build their network for them. But it's not just those scholars, it's also college days. So if you have a student, because a lot of your audience members might know somebody that's in security, RSAC has opened our doors for 1 day full conference free pass for college students on the Thursday of conference. This year it's March 26th. So please let them all know about that. But I'll get into the innovation programs. I'm happy to roll with it unless you want me to go ahead and have you answer. What would you like me to How
Yes.
would you like me to manage?
Cecilia, before we jump in on the sandbox, I want to come back to this scholars thing because look, I've always been a big believer in education and giving kids a chance to explore and especially, as a dad of my sons are 26 and 24 now. Um, there's so much pressure on kids, even young kids. What are you going to be when you grow up? What do you mean? You're 13 years old. You don't know what you're going to be when you grow up. You're going into college. You don't know what you want to be when you graduate. And the world's changing. And no matter what you want to be today, who knows what tomorrow will be. So these kinds of scholars programs where people are with children and young people are exposed to what a career looks like in this path, what the state of the technology is, what's the market, what's happening. That's God's work. And so it's an
Huh.
important thing. So thank you for doing it and thank RSAC for being involved in that. All right, let's pivot though, Cecilia, and talk about Sandbox. So this is last year I thought was a 10 or I forgot I'm
We're at
losing my mind.
21 years.
21. Last year was 20 years. This year will be
21.
21.
Yes.
You're making me feel old. I feel old.
I'm right there with you, Alan. It's
Yep. So
exciting because if you can't see that we're committed to innovation at RSAC, I can't say what else we could do. Like it's 21 years. We've been
well,
in the
yes.
floor for this. And this Innovation Sandbox contest has really been the cornerstone of RSAC's innovation pieces, as well as like the industry standard to bear. This is where people come to find out about where the future of innovation and the hottest startups are. So we're pretty excited about our track record. Can I give you some stats, Alan? Can I shock
Sure.
you? So
hmm
there have been in the past 21 years, the top 10 finalists have collectively raised over 17.8 billion. And there have only been 200 companies that have come on our stage, and over 100 of them have been in a merger or acquisition. So the test of is this contest actually identifying really important companies for the future? Absolutely. And the proof is in the pudding by just the hearing those numbers.
Hmm,
Crazy, no?
just crazy. Yeah, no, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the billion number.
I know. You're like going, oh
Um,
my God. But listen, like when you have companies like Imperva and Sentinel One, Axonius, Big ID, these are household names. You guys have heard of this. And if you haven't heard of the company, like Phantom, for example, won in 2016, it was bought
yes, I
by Splunk.
remember.
So,
Yes.
and Oliver's company, Pangea, was just bought by CrowdStrike. So, I mean, we're looking at these kinds of acquisitions that if the company itself isn't the one that you hear about, the company that bought them is. Like, we
Yeah,
have a tremendous track record here.
absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about the selection process, Cecilia,
Okay.
right? How does usually by the time you get to RSAC, it's the 10 finalists,
Right.
right? And that's how you have 200 companies over the last 20 years, 10 a year. You don't have to be a mathematician to figure that out. But, um, before how do you get to the 10 finalists? What does that look like?
Yeah. And it's hard because, like last year, we had record number of submissions. But what we've done, RSAC is not identifying the companies. RSAC is giving it back to be adjudicated by the community. And how we do that is we identify judges who are industry leaders and people that you know and have different backgrounds that can actually evaluate whether the company is going to be successful or not and in their space. And so, for example, we have this year Dave Chen, who's the head of global technology investment banking at Morgan Stanley. We have Nilu Razi, who is operating partner at Capital Meridian Partners. Also, she's a distinguished professor at Vanderbilt University. Paul Kocher, who sold his company. He's a cryptographer, well-known cryptographer, and an independent researcher, but can bring that element of like, how do you actually have a successful company and then sell it? Nazrin Raze, who is the SVP and CISO at Verizon. So you have a buyer at the table from a company that is a leading
A real
company.
practitioner.
And then we just added this year Larry Feinsmith, who's the head of global technology strategy, innovation, and partnerships at JP Morgan Chase. And we're really excited about this portfolio of very strong, solid individuals who really understand what it takes to make a startup be successful in this space.
So, Cecilia, there are people out here watching this, budding entrepreneurs, maybe not, maybe serial entrepreneurs or what have you, who say, I'd really like to. I think we're worthy. I think we could
Yeah,
win this.
absolutely.
If you can, give them the breadcrumbs to getting involved and applying, getting their hat in the ring, if you will.
Absolutely. So the submissions open October 14th and they close on November 14th. The most important piece of the submission process is filling out the entire submission and including a 3-minute video at the end. And the video should actually be something that you're creating for this particular contest because the judges will watch this video. And if you give us a canned packaged marketing video, it's not going to be really helpful. They're looking for you to explain to them why you're different. What made you start your company? And then how are you different from your competitors? How is your solution unique? And why are you going to be successful? Like that in a 3-minute nugget is really hard to do. But take a look at the overall. We built out a couple really important pages on our website that kind of give you some background of like, how to read it thoroughly, read about the submission process. And then it's just a matter of like really positioning your company. If you and I think everybody should take a shot at this. I mean, honestly, you are getting in front of these 5 people. You have nothing to lose and you have everything to gain. I think back to Andy Cow, who was the CEO or the president of Project Discovery. Project Discovery won in 2025. And Project Discovery
No,
won in
no,
2025. This year, like he won this year.
Yeah,
And
I
he
was
was
just gonna say it was the last year, Cecilia. Come
I know.
on
Oh
now.
my god. Oh my god. Yeah. So Andy Cow won this year, and his whole point, and I've heard this over and over again from every entrepreneur that we have, and you could look at a blog that we just posted from Mike Malone, who was also on our stage this year. And it's like you have nothing to lose, but this can change the trajectory of your company. It can actually, and this is verbatim. RSAC is second to none in the industry. Paired with the $5 million investment, which is what we're giving this year, and we'll talk about that in a second, the win helped us recruit exceptional talent, meet surging enterprise demand, and accelerate our growth. I mean, that's a testament. It's so amazing. So I think that actually puts it in a nugget. And he is not alone. Like I've heard this from a lot of the top 10 finalists, that it just gives you this mantle of legitimacy and provides you with an opportunity to get in front of the most important audience in cybersecurity. So I think in fact, just thinking about the fact that you could get in front of like Dave Chen or Larry Feinsmith or Nazrin, I mean, that's crazy just in itself. Like, what a great opportunity for you to send your company in front of these important judges. So,
Cecilia, where it's on the RSAC website, but
yep.
do you know, maybe like is there an easy URL or what, like
No.
how should they navigate to it? What's the best way?
That's a great question. So if you go into RSAC conference, if you go to I think it's RSAC conference, and you actually just type in Innovation Sandbox, it should pop up. It's also under programs, it's under events, and you can go under programs. So there's multiple ways to get to it. But if you just actually type into Google RSAC Innovation Sandbox, it will lead you to the website. And there on the 14th, you'll see a button that says Submit Now, and that's your opportunity to get in there.
I love it. That's fantastic. Let's I feel like Billy Spears here, but wait, there's more. Um,
And the Ginsu knives. Yes.
right.
Yes. It
Well,
comes
and,
with
and if you order now, we'll give you the second set, just shipping and handling. But so Innovation Sandbox, 21 years this year. But you guys also, I guess, maybe it's 3 years now, 4 years, Launchpad?
Yes.
How long is Launchpad around?
Thank you for asking because I love Launchpad. Launchpad is for those nascent companies, maybe coming out of stealth, to get in front of three really impressive VCs, venture capitalists, who are going to adjudicate their particular group of cadre submissions that come through. And when you get to the conference, it's super fun because it's like a Shark Tank. It's an hour, it's a 40-minute affair. It's very, very fast. You see the pitching, you see the questions and answers. And the judges, for lack of a better word, because they're venture capitalists, give you an idea of what do they care about. And so it's like being in the boardroom, and when the new company comes in and pitches to these guys, they only get 5 minutes to do it. And they have to get in front of like Barmak Mefta, who is the founder.
I know Barmak.
Barmak is the founder of Conviction Partners. You got Sarah Gao, who is like a superhero in my book. She came from Greylock, and then she founded her own VC firm called Conviction Partners. And Enrique Salem, who everybody knows, and is at Bain Capital Ventures.
Former Semantic also.
Yeah, former Semantic. And
Yep.
I mean, just honestly, again, like this opportunity to get your company in front of those three different VCs is just worthy of putting in your submission. For that submission, it's the same kind of idea. It is a form. You're gonna have to explain why is your company important and how are you different. But instead of putting in a video, you're going to put in a slide deck, a pitch deck, like you would to any VC. So imagine you get your pitch deck, and these three people are going to be seeing your pitch deck. So go for it, people.
Absolutely. Now, Cecilia, for those people out here watching who maybe aren't entrepreneurial or aren't starting a new company, but they're one of the 40,000 odd people who come to RSA conference every year. Sandbox usually takes place Monday of RSA week.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes.
And then last year, for the first time, you guys did it in it's a theater. I just don't remember the name of the theater now that it's in as part of Moscone.
No, we're going to be back. We're in the Moscone.
Back in
You
Moscone.
don't fit that theater. We're too big.
I
We have too many people
so
coming.
I
It's
ran
so
down.
fun.
I know.
It's on the
I
second
was
floor
there
of
last year.
Moscone South. It's so fun. And then
I
also
gotcha.
Launchpad will be in that same area. We're trying to really highlight some other innovation pieces. So on that same floor where you have Innovation Sandbox on Monday, Launchpad on Tuesday, we'll have a whole track dedicated to investors and entrepreneurs that will be talking about trends in the industry. And then right next to that will be the whole area that's called Early Stage Expo, where it has 78 early startups. So that are exhibiting like an
cool.
expo floor. And it's super fun, and it has free coffee and a couch. So I recommend it to everybody.
So, of course, we put on our DevSecOps event every year on Monday with partnership with RSAC. We're usually, I think this year they have us on the third floor. Now I know why.
Yeah.
We were on the second floor. But actually, free coffee, I could just run down the escalator.
Starting on Wednesday. That starts Wednesday.
Oh, on Wednesday. Oh, no.
I know. But
On
you can come
Wednesday,
and
I'll
see
be
the
in
villages.
Broadcast Alley and doing, I'm in
Well,
videos.
come over. You have to come because
I will
what
try.
the villages are going to be there. The DEF CON villages are next to it.
I
we're
thought
just
you told me
building
the
out
village people are coming.
I shouldn't call them that, but I laugh and joke
Right.
with them. But they're the DEF CON village. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. They're going to do
I
some
was
little...
doing my YMCA thing, but good enough. Cecilia, what exciting stuff going on
Yes.
here.
Yes. You have to submit before November 14th at 5 p.m. That's
Right. But you can't submit until October 14th.
right. October 14th.
So I think, so look, these are obviously pre-recorded. I think we will try to get it up for October 14th. So if you're watching this, go to the RSAC site, Google RSAC Innovation Sandbox, looking for it on the website, but go and throw your hat in the ring, right? You're in the presence of giants there.
Love it. Love it. I
I
can't wait
love
to
it.
see you all there. Whether you submit or not, come. It's such a fun experience. Really
And
fun.
then just a little RSAC housekeeping.
Yeah.
I believe sessions or speaker selections for sessions are coming at the end of this month, right?
So people will be notified, not at
Oh,
the end.
okay.
Right now they're actually being selected by the program committee. So
Right.
as you all know, RSAC conference is completely adjudicated by the program committee, but people who volunteer their time and review all of these submissions. We got a record number of submissions. It's crazy. And we're going to have like 27 tracks. It's going to be an outstanding conference again, because that's how we roll. We only do great. But what I'll say is, for those that did submit, expect notification later in the year. And then a full agenda comes out. And my friend Ben just sent it to me. Give me a second here. In early January, excuse
Excellent.
me.
But for people who want to register and get early bird specials to attend and
Yes.
everything else, they could do that now.
They almost, towards the end of the month, we're opening up the actual early bird
Good.
registration. And hold on. And so give me a second, because I'm going to count myself back in. Ben, when is registration open? October 22nd. Okay.
That
on.
was the 22nd. I knew there was
Yeah.
something October 22nd.
Okay,
All
going
right.
back in.
I'm going to
3.
count you.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
For those that are interested in registering, our early registration opens on October 22nd. And I think it's a great time to get in, because you'll obviously get access to the hotels, which is a bonus.
I was just
You're
about to
gonna
say that
do
for you newbies out there, as soon as you register, go nail down your hotels or your accommodations to stay, but because they fill up fast and they get expensive if you wait too long.
That's right. So you will need this year. You will need an all access pass to get early access to the hotels. But Expo Plus, which is what you need to get into all of the innovation programming.
Monday events, yep.
Yeah, and Tuesday, it's all week. But that opens on the 22nd, but you actually will be able to get housing in early January. So you have to make your choice what you want to do. But yes, I agree. Like, get in there, get your submissions going.
Absolutely. All righty. Cecilia, it's so good seeing you so early in the year.
No, so fun,
But
Alan.
we will have you back on, I guess, around January. When will the finalists be announced, you know?
Yes, I do. They're going to be announced mid-February.
So I will see you in mid-February. We have a date, my friend.
I love it. Thank you so much, Alan. Thank you for everything you're doing. We're so grateful to
It's
you.
my pleasure.
Thank
Grateful to
you.
you. We should be grateful to you for what you do. Cecilia Marinier, Vice President, Innovation and Scholars at RSAC here on Techstrong TV. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.